the sum total of this idea is that you can have a policy idea, but weigh the repercussions. So I'm just trying to imagine if I was in a room and somebody said, let us ban sachet alcohol. I would say, okay, when we take away their sachet alcohols and their small, what's going to happen? Let's assume you're a bus conductor. Every morning you get your little dose. So however much, I don't know how much they sell it, maybe 200 naira, 300 naira. What happens if that option is no longer there? And that is my only question. As the government considered that, what happens when they can't get it? Because like Francis mentioned about addiction, it's not something that because it's not there, you're going to try and find it, you know, so.
An alternative.
Yes.
Now let's begin this conversation taking our quote first from an anonymous who once said, "Some roads you have to take alone. No family, no friends, no partner." Absolutely spot on. And my next quote is from another anonymous who once said, "Some people don't realize how hard you ride for them until you park." Like someone just said, so if they carry you with a pinch of salt, just carry them with one drop of salt. Hello, welcome to the conversation. We're reaching you from Kaftan's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Annabelle Oji. Now today, let's turn our attention to matters arising, especially in Nigeria and in every other part of the country and the rest of the world, exactly as we were looking at news that has been trending on social media. You know, I like to do social media stuff sometimes though. So let's see what happened or what is happening on social media, what is trending, what's buzzing, what people are arguing about. And my guest on the show today, I have two guests and they are in-house analysts. So it's looking like it's going to be a buzz boost, but don't worry. We'll keep it simple. My first guest is Amadin Ogbewe, who is our very own in-house analyst. He's also our political journalist. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Okay. My next guest is Francis Adeniyi, who is our sports journalist, also our in-house analyst. Welcome to the show, Francis.
Thank you very much, Annabelle.
Like the way Francis just said it's good to be here, it's looking like, okay, it's good to be on the conversation. Why are you making me look like that?
No, you know, the conversation seat is one seat. If you're coming on the seat, you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared. So let's just be positive. That's why I said it's good to be on the hallowed chambers of the conversation.
I mean, the color of the chair says it all. You're on the hot seat. It's red. Really.
Welcome again.
Thank you.
All right, now let's go straight to our conversation for today. But then we'll start with, like I said, we'll talk about matters that have been trending on social media. But then we'll start from this particular one that it has been breaking the internet since it actually came out. Federal government finally bans alcoholic beverages in small sachets. So I'll bring the question first to you, Francis, saying the fact that a lot of people, I saw it and then the comments were out of this world. Some people say, oh, so what will conductors now be drinking? So what will the Agberos now be taking? And then some other person said it's a very good step in the right direction. I actually did a poll on it, and then someone said, if they are going to, at the end of the day, we'll see the big picture. And what is the big picture? The fact that it's not some kind of witch hunting. We go into it and then we ensure that we are all out, or not send them away from one place and then they're returning to another place, and then it looks like we're just chasing too many shadows. Do you see this as a step in the right direction?
Thank you very much for that question, Annabelle. First of all, on that, on the ban on sachet alcohol drinks, the order has been there since 31st of January 2022, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, just before you go ahead, okay. In case if you don't understand or you don't know the sachet drinks, I will call out some of them I remember. There's Best and Seaman, Chelsea, all those nylon tier. And let's move on.
Just to help you, in case you don't know what we are still talking about, it is usually called Pelebe. So, like I was saying, The order has been there
since
2021. I think 2020, between 2021 and 2022. So what is basically happening right now is enforcement. Enforcement of the ban. And also, before that order was given, there was a meeting between NAFDAC, the Standard Organization of Nigeria, and Association of Food and Beverages, Tobacco Employers of Nigeria, and they agreed to reduce the production of those sachet products by 5% at intervals till its production is finally phased out. Now, on when they were going to start enforcing the law, they found out that some of these producers have the sachets, the raw materials, like stacked that can sustain their production for years. And this is something that there's been a meeting that you have to continue to scale down your production by 5% at intervals till it is finally phased out. And secondly, that I'm talking on the part of on the part of the fact that people are complaining about it, or you mentioned witch hunting right now. So this is not something that is not something that is coming to the producers or the consumers unaware.
Oh, okay.
So now, and on the part of the government, for me personally, in as much as things doesn't seem to be going as we envisaged right now, it doesn't mean that the fact that we are dealing with insecurity issues, we are dealing with cost of living right now, it doesn't mean that the federal government will turn its back to other important issues. It is within the purview of the federal government to based on available data, look at the pattern, look at the trend, and say, okay, these things they are going to, maybe in the nearest future, they are going to they're going to have an impact on public health.
But it's been there over time.
It's been there.
Why now?
It's been there.
Been a long time coming.
No, it's been there over time. Look at the demography of people that takes this product, and you look at their behavior. You look at their behaviors on the street, and this very sachet we're talking about here now. It's the easiest route for minors under less than 18 children to get introduced to alcohol. The statistics are there, the data are there, and a child that is getting introduced to alcohol at the minor stage is more susceptible to doing drugs in the long run. So for me,
what has what was that, Pelebe, right?
Yes.
What has it got to do with influencing or impacting on the child doing drugs?
Doing drugs
in the long run.
In the long run, have you not heard of drug addiction? Alcohol. People are alcoholics. They cannot go a day without doing alcohol. It starts from somewhere.
Okay, so but I
so now
that
my point here now is it is within the government's right to say this thing is constituting public, is going to affect is going to have an impact on public health. And we already have shortage in the medical field right now. Shortage of nurses, shortage of doctors, even shortage of infrastructures.
Okay, Francis,
I'm coming.
Francis, before let me ask, before I take it to Amadin, let me ask you. Now you said it's already constituting nuisance, yeah? So how about cigarettes? How about other items? How about gaming? If you say smoke responsibly, if you say game responsibly, and those other also constituting nuisance.
Okay.
Why is it that sachet? Because a lot of people will give an excuse that because I cannot afford that big bottle of Best or Baileys, so I can just afford one small sachet. Let me just drink it and be happy.
Okay, let me just drink it and be happy. So is that a justification for the fact that people should be taking it? Now, first of all, the sachet we are talking about is not even healthy for the environment. For the environmental health, for environmental health. Now, that sachet you are looking at, the nylon they use in making it. If you dispose it, you come back 10 years, you clean it, it's still as it is. So it's constituting environmental hazard. Also, health hazard. Look at the people that are look at the conductors on the streets. Respect to whoever it is right now. Look at the demography of people taking it. How many of them now that if they go down, if their liver, their kidneys suddenly develops issue right now, how many of them can afford the treatment?
But Francis, you not answer my question on cigarettes also.
That is what I'm
on Baba Ijebu.
That is what I'm saying. We are saying the same thing here now. I just said that the fact that the government have more pressing issues to deal with, it doesn't mean that they should neglect other parts. This may just have been one of the multiple steps that has been planned by the government. Okay,
so for this debate on ban of sachet drinks, are you for or against? I just put you on the spot.
Personally, I think the ban on sachet alcoholic drinks, for me, it's pretty much a good step in the right direction. However, I think there are more pressing issues that that energy can be channeled into.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me take the question to Amadin. Do you agree with all that he said? Are you, first, two questions, and I'd like you to unbundle them in one breath. Are you for or against the ban of sachet drinks? And then secondly, are we, in this regard, are we majoring on our major and minoring on our minor things? Because if you remember, few months ago, especially during Christmas, we saw the how they flooded our timelines and our screens with fake drinks, fake 4 cousins, 4 brothers, 4 neighbors, and all. It looks like we have not even dealt with that part first. Like I'm still trying to recover and process the fact that I saw the way they were preparing wines that I have drunk, and I'm trying to understand. Oh, are you sure that my systems are doing very well because of what I saw? I've seen rather. So now we now see that the government, NAFDAC, have decided to bring down sachet drinks. That people say, this is just my this is my urgent 2K, let me just use it to buy 1 sachet drink and just stay happy and enjoy my thing, and I don't do either drugs and all. Do you actually see this as a step in the right direction, or we are just majoring on our major and minor things?
Yeah, I think that's certainly a part of it. Always having so much vim for things that don't seem to have the most impact. But in the NAFDAC's defense, I think there are, like Francis said, there are studies here and there that link, these consumption to some of the societal ills and national or lack of national development and so on. So they are doing. I'm all for government saying that, okay, there's something going on here, and we're going to try and fix it. Now, the only aspect, and just to add, the ban also includes, I think, 200 ml sizes. So you have sachet, and then you have probably comes up to this size or thereabouts. So they're really trying to go all out. But
it looks like if you cannot afford the big bottle, stay away from alcohol.
Yes, and this is the thing now. This is the comment I have on this, that it is not just about doing something, it's about analyzing what could be the possible ramifications. If you want to solve a problem, you must ensure that your solution does not become a bigger problem. So it's just like, I use this analogy a lot, but it's like you say, I have malaria. You've been diagnosed, and they told you malaria is what you have, or typhoid. There are drugs for malaria, there are drugs for typhoid. And then you say, no, I want this malaria to really die. So you know what? I'm going to drink hypo. I'm going to drink bleach so that the malaria will be completely killed and it will die forever. But when you drink the malaria, the bleach, you die also. The malaria is gone, but you're also gone. So I'll use this thing. There's something called the Cobra effect. I'll just describe how it came about before I say what it means, really. I think in India, when the British were still, when it was still under colonial rule, they noticed there was a problem of too many cobras just everywhere. I'm talking about the snake. So they thought, how do we keep this problem in check? They now made something of a policy and said, if you bring in a cobra, a live cobra, I believe so, we'll give you a certain amount of money. So they created incentive. And it was expected that what this would do is people would go get any cobra around you, submit it, get your money, you go, and then when everybody does it, this person does it, cobras are all gone. The population of cobras will drop. But you know what people started doing? They started breeding cobras. So they'll get a male, female cobra, take it to your backyard, let them breed. Once they deliver, you take it to the government pays you. So where you should have seen a reduction in population of cobras, there was now an increase in cobras. And when the government now, when they noticed, instead of perhaps maybe finding a way to come to a middle ground, they canceled the program. Now, the moment they canceled the program, the people who've bred cobras still had their cobras, and they didn't kill the cobras, they just let them loose. So at the end of the day, sum total, the number of cobras increased almost geometrically, so to speak. So the question is not, and if I want to use another analogy, there was, I think in Canada, there was a problem with youth. It's very similar to this issue. Like certain youths were having bad behaviors, behaving a certain way, and so on and so forth. So they said, we can't have this. Things are getting out of hand. So they made a camp where they could bring them, rehabilitate them, get them, and then everything will be all well and good. And it turned out that after the 6 months of the camp or whatever it was, those kids were worse off than before. Because apparently what happened is they took the quote-unquote the worst of them, gathered them together, and then they started competing with each other who can be more worse. And then you release them back into the society. So the sum total of this idea is that you can have a policy idea, but weigh the repercussions. So I'm just trying to imagine if I was in a room and somebody said, let us ban sachet alcohol. I would say, okay, when we take away their sachet alcohols and they are small, what's going to happen? Let's assume you're a bus conductor. Every morning you get your little dose, so however much, I don't know how much they sell it, maybe 200 naira, 300 naira. What happens if that option is no longer there? And that is my only question. As the government considered that, what happens when they can't get it? Because like Francis mentioned about addiction, it's not something that because it's not there, you're going to try and find it, so an
alternative.
Yes, so I'm not an expert, and so my only appeal is that think it through to the logical conclusion. What happens? And I know there's some ladies who pardon me, let me not say ladies. Some people who I know, they have these buckets where they have different things. They call it agbo or something like that. But there's alcohol in it, if I recall. So those persons, do they? I think they pour the stuff into nylons and wrap it and give it to people.
Okay, so that one is even another. We are going to even talk about that one.
So perhaps those persons, their business will go
ban on that one too.
And it's still on.
There's been
I think I saw one just outside. So
that's why I said that this very one now, it's enforcement that they just started enforcement. The ban has been there since I think 2022, January 1st.
So again, it's just like you said, majoring on the major. So is this do I personally think this is such an issue that needs utmost attention at the moment? I can't see it honestly, but maybe they saw something and they want to do. But my own plea is that they should think it through. And then to Nigerians out there, officially now, from what NAFDAC is saying, any sachet drink you see, it can't have NAFDAC number. So there's another danger here now, which is that if you are still seeing it, NAFDAC has no longer approved it. So it's not a question of
what if it's the old ones, the old stuff?
So no, my point here now is talking about majoring on the major and minor on the minor. Now, what are the statutory duties of the Nigerian Food and Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the NAFDAC, to regulate foods and drugs? Basically, what people take into their systems. So if the NAFDAC is coming out to say that we have done a research, we have done proper background check, and we have discovered that this thing is posing serious environmental threat, is going in the nearest future is going to have serious health effects on public health, and they are coming out to say that they are coming out to say that this has to stop. They are majoring on what.
Okay,
what
Francis,
they were
I will
created
bring back
to.
that question I asked you earlier, and I will rephrase it.
Okay.
We're talking about still on that cigarettes. You still have cigarettes everywhere, which also have health implications.
Okay.
You still have shisha everywhere, which also have its own health implications. If I don't want to use the other ones, but then we still have all of these things. Even the typical Gen Z or Gen Z bodies, they always go for the every kind of things that they can find, mix together.
Annabelle,
those ones are still there now.
Annabelle, let me tell you something. While growing up, I grew up in a place whereby I can say I was very, very close to the street. You understand? What I noticed was that back then, the people who smoked Indian hemp, who smoked marijuana, they usually hide to do it.
Unlike now that they threw it at your face.
Right now, you can walk around the vicinity now, and you are perceiving it. People do not do it in their homes. Back then, people go into the bush. People go on top of rocks to do it. But right now, you basically see people.
So why do you think? At what point did we now throw our morality to the air?
That morality, that one now is going to be a total discussion for another day, because it's not something that happened overnight. It's not something that happened overnight. So now the point I'm trying to make here now is that for cigarette, if you buy a pack of cigarette right now, back then it used to be smokers are liable to die young. Now it is smokers will die young. That's what they even put some kind of scary looking pictures on it.
But they're still producing.
No, but they're still producing.
I think when it comes to this, there shouldn't be over-regulation of these things. Sometimes making something or making it look like there's not someone who's going to hit you over the head if you use it makes it easier for people to regulate. I think the regulation should be about ensuring that these bodies and these organizations advertise well. That is why people have been having issues with skit makers and Instagram, because they advertise on betting, mostly betting. Betting is the issue. They advertise on betting and they don't add the disclaimers. Yes, gambling. They don't add the disclaimers, which is because betting on its own is not illegal. But advertisements, the ones that are regulated, you must have it there that bet responsibly, all those kind of things, you must add it. So that's why this same thing is happening with sugar sweetened beverages. Every other day, these coalitions, they come out, they say, sugar is too much, let's add more tax, let's do this to them. And I'm just like, similar to what I'm saying, is sugar our only problem? Why do you want to? Because these people, they are here to make a profit. So you can't tell them to, reduce the things that they are doing. The most you can do is regulate how they advertise, which is to say that as you're advertising, tell people the harms so that they go into it
definitely
freely and of their own volition.
All right, let's go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll continue this conversation with Amadin Ogbewe and Francis Adeniyi. I'll see you later.
We have done a research. We have done we have done proper background check, and we have discovered that this thing is posing serious environmental threat. Is going in the nearest future is going to have serious health effects on public health. And they are coming out to say that we do not. They are coming out to say that this has to stop.
Federal government said they want to ban all these sachet so-called alcohol. Yes, it's good. If they can even ban even smoking, because the two is a dangerous thing in someone's life. You know, some people will think they are enjoying their life with it. You understand? That is killing them. There is a part in their body that is killing. Even many of them think, that's why they said in cigarettes, those that smoke it, they wrote 18 years. If you are not up to 18 years, all that one is nothing to do about smoking or drinking. Alcohol is something that is bad.
If the NAFDAC or the agencies responsible for this have done their research and investigation and discover that some of these sachet drinks have implication on the health of Nigerians, then the federal government is doing the right thing. Because it is the responsibility of the federal government to ensure that the masses consume what will not harm them, neither what will cause them to go and burn down their houses.
You are talking about banning sachets, alcohol, and you are leaving beer, you are leaving other harmful substances, like you are leaving codeine. What happened to other drugs? And you know, there are so many things that people use to, you know, aside this one. In short, banning it alone cannot stop others from doing others.
It's a very good omen if the federal government can embark on that very specific project. Because why I say so is that the thing is really causing a lot of problems to the generation of ours these days. They have the intakes of alcohol in this country is of the higher size compared to God at the days. So if they can ban it successfully and prevent people not to drink it, I think it is better.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is The Conversation, reaching you from Kaftan's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. My guest today is Francis Adeniyi, and we also have Amadin Ogbewe, and we've been discussing on federal government's ban on sachet drinks. That's the Chelsea, the Best, and all those small bottled drinks. So before we leave that, let's leave this topic so we can move to the next one now. Before we leave it, I'll start with you, Amadin. Let's get your last word on this. Like you already stated that let's just there are other pressing issues, but then the federal government has started, so it means that we have to obey their rules, the regulation, and all. So now let's get your last word, especially to those who are already watching us right now and say, so what do you want me to take, and how do we deal? Just some words to them.
Interestingly, my initial thought to all of this is that we are going through a lot in the country, to be fair. So I don't even know why you would want to take away means for people to escape. But that being said,
that's the means of escape, yeah?
Yes, it is, because I think when we are talking about this issue, everybody pictures Lagos, I think, for some reason, because that's where you have the whole, it's a very interesting place. So, but it happens around, I believe. So I believe that's when those men or those guys are going through this, it's something they use as to sort of down the edges. I don't want to have to go through this with an open eye or whatever it is. So I think, even though that's my initial way of looking at it, I understand that the government is trying to do the right thing. So sum total is to just say that as the government is doing what they're doing, they should consider all the possible angles to it.
All right.
And definitely people are going to find ways around it. So that's why I feel the government should be more creative about, if I can't buy a sachet, can I get a bottle, maybe a normal disposable bottle?
Pet bottle.
Yes, that I carry around in my pocket. I supply it to them, they put it in for me. You can even become a subscription basis as per, okay, you fill this amount for me every day, I pay you so much at the end. you know, anything can happen. You know, it might, interestingly, it could even be an avenue for some Nigerians who want to be entrepreneurs too. There's a gap being exposed now that somebody can exploit legally speaking. But that being said, I think we should just obey, and I hope that on their part, NAFDAC should also do the needful and also focus on those other things that are more pressing with as much vim.
Okay. All right. So I'll bring the same question to you, Francis. Do you agree with what the solutions that he gave, and then do you actually see it as trying to? I'm trying to find the right word. Trying to curb use of alcohol, be it in whether a Sharia state or not a Sharia state.
For me, first of all, I don't see it as the government trying to curb the use of alcohol, because if they're trying to curb the use of alcohol, there will be a total ban on alcoholic drinks, beers, wines, whiskeys, vodkas, and the likes.
But like they say, it takes a drop to make an ocean.
Yeah,
it starts somewhere.
Maybe this might just be the first drop. However, just like I was listening to Amadin, and he said when people, you know, want to go through people going through a phase and they cannot, things they are taking to, you know,
as an escape route.
As an escape route. I'm going to take a leaf from what you usually say. If you want an escape route, water is a, you know, drink water and mind your own business. But for me, I think it's a very, very good step in the right direction.
Okay.
You understand? However, I think if you look at some of the milk products we use at home right now, you'd see that some of them are now coming in. They are now wrapping
small sachets,
small sachets with paper,
even butter,
paper materials that can, you know, that are easily disposable. I think if NAFDAC, if they can go back to the drawing board, you know, carry out more intensive clinical tests on these products. When I'm talking about these products, I'm not talking about those ones that carries a mixture on the tray. I'm talking about those, you know, proper sachet products. Carry out clinical tests and see the ones that they can approve. Probably, if it's because of the sachet, maybe they can do a rebranding. They can do a rebranding, just like in Lagos. In Lagos, some weeks ago, there has been a ban on this.
Styrofoams.
So, I think for me, on the part of the federal government, it's pretty much a good step in the right direction. And for NAFDAC, they are majoring on what they were created to do.
Okay, so according to Francis, he said they're majoring on their major and minor,
yes,
minor on the minor things. All right, let's move to other stories. And then this one says Nigeria and 17 other countries excluded from 2025 U.S. lottery program. So I'll start with you, Amadin Ogbewe. I saw the trends on social media, and then people say, they want to clamp down on Nigerians again. They started from the UK. They said, don't bring your dependents, your children. If you want to come alone and all. But now the US have started their own. They want to take. And then at some point, I was asking myself, I didn't even know that US, this DV lottery program is still exists, because I remember when we were growing up, like almost all my neighbors, everyone traveled via this route. So it's now looking like you guys should just calm down, let some other countries also enjoy it. And then some other persons will say, it's typical Nigerians, we want to just have everything and hoard everything, let it just come to us and us alone. So do you actually see this as a way of pursuing or just putting a caveat, we don't want XYZ country? I'm not going to mention name.
I think sometimes maybe it's because we are in Nigeria, so that's why those headlines are phrased that way. If it was in the US, you might see something like US excludes 18 countries. You know, but in Nigeria, they specified Nigeria as though when the US was doing it, mentioned to, you know, okay, is Nigeria on the list? Okay, make sure it's there, you know, stuff like that. So I don't think it's really a big deal, particularly when you consider the migration of Nigerians to the US. I believe, as at the last count, there are about 400,000 Nigerians over there. These are the ones that started from Nigeria. Though some of them have given birth and had a generation or maybe two in the country. I didn't count those ones. They're still Nigerians. So I think that it's not really a big deal, but generally we do know there is some level of clamping down on migration across the world, but I don't think it's going to really stop Nigerians
from
really.
Japan.
Yes, and the reason is because we have so many avenues now. Just being good in your career is enough. Being at the top level of your career these days is enough for you to have an opportunity to leave. So I don't know. I think that it's not something we should take particularly into account. And the reason is also because when you think about how much Nigerians key into something and then expand on it, it can be really interesting. Take for instance, I saw the Nigeria-South Africa match. There were talks about there might be some
Nigerian
level
jollof and the pepper.
Yeah, and there was this talk about this. There might be some sort of xenophobia if Nigeria should win or so on and so forth. So, and someone said Nigerians don't really care about South Africans or Ghanaians. It's the flip side. Then I saw this other perspective, which is kind of true, which is that the reason we don't care is because they don't put any sort of strain on us. So we don't have South Africans migrating in numbers here. And another person said, well, Nigerians are not the major immigrants in South Africa. Then he, in his response, while asking, okay, why do they now hate Nigerians? He said, because Nigerians go to a place, they dominate, they do this, and he said that what you are describing is immigrant pressure. So even if Nigerians might be 5 out of 100 people that came to the country, those 5 get into positions where they are controlling so many things, and it looks like they've taken over everything. So when it comes to immigration, I understand what countries want to do by reducing these things, because it gets to a point where things might become overwhelming for your citizens. Take for instance, I know going to Canada, if you have certain health issues, that's going to put undue strain on their health system over there. They don't let you come unless you have some way of mitigating those issues. So at the end of the day, everybody's looking out for themselves. The only thing here is that people are also making a lot of revenue from Nigerians going over there. But at the end of the day, even if we don't go, I'm not sure they miss us a lot, because when the UAE was going to ban Nigerians, people said, who is going to spend all the money there? Who is going to put money into there? Well, they've banned us for quite a while now, and the economy is still running. So but sometimes I just believe the government should take this as an opportunity to fix the country, so we don't have to leave. I saw the other day someone had an issue very close here in Abuja where his house was raided. Police pretended to be NEPA officials, allegedly, to get into a place. That's what kidnappers do, because if you are police, you announce yourself. But anyway, he did that, and he said something at the end which was it makes you think. He made a statement. He said that anytime he talks to his friends abroad, they ask him, what are you still doing in that country? And he said the question hurts him, because my own country, why are you asking what am I doing in my own country? So I think is a call to the governments and everyone involved. Just make the place a little bit better. People don't even ask for much. Just don't hurt them, or don't allow other people hurt them. They will fend for themselves, and they won't have to run anywhere.
All right, I'll bring the same question to you, Francis. How do you see that news, especially when we first saw it? How did that news actually come to you? I hear some people say, oh, okay, they've banned on Nigeria, that means we are not going to the US through lottery visa again. And then some other persons have their own reason, and then blame on the US government. So what are your thoughts on this?
Has there ever been a time when Nigerians have never I've never had to question some of the policies of the US government, provided it's not saying that Nigerians, Emabo, Nigerians come, even if your documents are not complete, even if you have fake documents, come. Are you getting my point now? So if you look at the whole thing, for me, I choose not to see it as clamp down on Nigeria. And just like Famous said, that it's not like they shortlisted the countries. They now said, make sure Nigeria is there,
as long as there's a green passport.
So
put them among.
every country have their own immigration policy. Every country have their own immigration policy. And I can tell you for a fact, that no matter what it is, Nigerians will still find a way. But Nigerians will still find their ways to, around it. So it's not about clamping down on Nigerians. It's not about saying that we do not want Nigerians. Because looking at their it is the number of this, it is the data they get from this immigration and emigration. That is what they use to make proper planning for their citizens. And it's just that in this part of the world, in Africa generally, we are not very big on data. We are not very big on data. Like we have not. Technology is still evolving worldwide, in my opinion. But then, in Africa, if the world is 50 years into their technological journey, I think in Africa here we are just about say a year or two.
You managed to say 5 years.
No. The reason is you can see it even in the budgeting system of the government. You just see they just put numbers. And by September, October, they are doing a supplementary budget again. They are doing a supplementary budget. So this the having accurate number of people that are coming into your country, that are going out of your country, that are staying in your country permanently, helps the government to be able to make proper plannings. And this thing, I think the U.S. government, they've been benevolent for a very long time because because countries, not all countries, have been privileged to have had the kind of development and stability that United States of America have had over the years. Are you getting me? So a lot of countries have benefited from these visa lotteries, while some other countries have. It seems like they have been left out. So if they stretch the arm of benevolence to other countries, if they make policies that makes it easier for these countries that that were benefiting less from it to begin to benefit from it, I think it's not out of place. It's not such a bad idea. And we also have to consider the fact that a lot of Nigerians are applying for this lottery with fake documents. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Let's tell ourselves the truth. If you go to a particular location in Lagos, I would tell you, I don't want to mention the name of the place now. If there's any signature you want, no matter the personality, if the person is breathing in oxygen and breathing out nitrogen, is it nitrogen? Carbon dioxide, beg your pardon. If you go to that very place, you get the signature.
Oluwole?
Yes. Why I did not say Oluwole.
I just said Oluwole. I did not say
Amadin,
Oluwole.
did you hear me say Oluwole? So Nigerians, it was your host that said Oluwole.
I said you will get Oluwole certificates, not.
So I think it's.
But then is it actually bad if even Nigeria now even make that ban and say okay, US, you people should be coming down before you come. You have to check.
No, I think that's a very bad idea.
Really?
Wait.
I think the minister tried to. He said something about that recent where he said the restrictions that they are giving us, we should start reciprocating. No, we need them more than they need us.
That's exactly. That's my exact point. Now,
just like the last administration, the issue of closing border and all of that. That's not something you do for a growing economy. Even the biggest economies don't do that. So why would you do that? You must always have this open arm policy. Yes, coming.
So it's okay to close your doors on us, and then we just do our own arms open.
Yes, but there's another policy that they are mulling in the Ministry of Interior, which is they want to increase tax or start a new kind of tax for expatriates.
Okay.
And that's a better idea. So we know you come in, we know you make more money than the people here. we know you are more well-to-do than everybody you met
But we'll
here.
tax you
so
more.
you make
But
you to
then
pay
you're
more.
not taxing,
So you can
you're
come
not,
in.
let's say an Indian is coming, you're not taxing the Indian, you are taxing the organization he's working with. And what if that organization
It's
is
still
one that,
multinational.
what if that organization is one that evade tax? Because I know quite a number of them that they will not pay tax,
Then
especially on
that's-
extra
that's
trips.
why
that
they're
is a-
clamping
that is
down
a-
on them.
then
Yeah,
that is
so-
an issue. That is an issue for the tax regulating body set up by the federal government. Are you getting me? So for us to say because they have they removed Nigeria and 17 other countries from countries that are wait. If let's tell ourselves the truth. If we stop, if for example we have that kind of a policy, that kind of a program in Nigeria, and we say we are suspending United States of America, China. I'm picking my countries now, China or the United Kingdom from accessing that facility. Who is losing more? We need them more than they need us. Let's tell ourselves the truth.
And I just wanted to quickly add something on the passport. You mentioned passport, and I think I wrote an article recently about what the entertainment industry needs from government and all of that. And I realized that anything you want to talk about in this country, anything but that needs to be better or to be raised, media, entertainment, football, whatever it is, there's an advice or there's a solution that the government, I hope they don't get tired of hearing it, but they have to do more. I say this because I don't know if you know Tayo Aina, the YouTuber. Recently he said he paid $250,000 or thereabouts for a passport, I think from the Caribbeans or thereabouts. If you do that calculation right now with our current rate, maybe it will be on screen. So you can imagine what that man paid. And the reason is because that with that passport now, he's probably going to use Nigerian passport less. He can get visas almost like without any hassle.
Without stress.
So our passport actually hinders us. And at the end of the day, the advice I mentioned is that government should just make things better for us so that our image, our cost of living and everything is so much better that it shows off when we try to go to places. People don't say you're impoverished, you have insecurity or this and all of that.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's move to other topic. Our time is fast spent. Let's just try and see how we can manage the next few minutes that we have. And this one is on the Grammys. So here you have Tyler beats Davido, Burna Boy, Aya Star, and Asake to win the Grammy Awards for Best African Music Performance. But then on the flip side, the other story you have there is Davido loses out on all 3 Grammy nominations. And then on the other side again, on the other news, you have Burna Boy loses all 4 nominations at the Grammys Award. And then Nigerians have been raining fire and brimstone on social media. Say, oh, what is happening? Grammys on us? What? Let's get your view first, Francis.
Nothing is happening. The Grammys, the Grammy Award, is not a Nigerian award. It's not an African award. Are you getting me? And the organizers of the event, they want to make profit also.
Yeah.
They want to make profit also. And if you look at the selection process, it's been selected by, by selected juries that forms an academy. So it's not like it's something that is open for the general public to vote. To vote. Sometimes we all know that sometimes if it goes through the voting route, the outcome may not tell the real story because a lot of people will vote on their personal favorites, even if the personal favorite has not merited it. But then I think I have a little bit of reservations for especially the African music, global African music performance category won by Tyler. Congratulations to her, no bad blood. But I think that if we talk about the numbers, if we talk about the reach, if we talk about the spread, I think Davido should have gone home with that very award. And it's high time we started placing more premium on our own content. We have our own award. I'm talking about the Grammys, the Headies. We have our own.
And the African Magic movies, what?
Afrima. These awards now are now taken to foreign countries. They are now taken to US, UK to organize an award for Africans. How many times has the Grammys? How many times have they said that we are bringing the Grammys to organize in Namibia or Cote d'Ivoire this time around? So the reason is that sometimes we even see people not get nominated for the Headies and they don't even get to attend. They don't even get to attend. But we see them fly all the way down to Atlanta, to US, just to take pictures on the Grammys red carpet to say that yes, I attended the Grammys. So before Burna Boy won his own Grammy with the Twice as Tall album, he took the Grammys creating a particular category for Africans, for him to be able to bring that very award home. So for me, I think it's not really something we should shout about
or argue about. All right.
And
then some say it's actually a clampdown on Afrobeat.
I want to believe it's a clampdown on Afrobeat.
I disagree. I think first of all, about Tyler and Davido, to be fair, Tyler's song was the bigger song. I think if you go on YouTube right now, Tyler has about 119 million
on
views.
That Water.
Okay.
Yes. Davido's Unavailable has 90 million views, and Davido's video is older.
Okay.
So that should have more views. But the issue here is that there's something people say, it happens in football too, where someone will win, it will be the striker of the, or how would I put it now? In the top 11 players. Someone takes, let me use the goalkeeper. He's the goalkeeper in that 11. But that goalkeeper is not the one who wins best goalkeeper. People say, if you couldn't make it to the first 11, how did you become best? But it happens, and this is how I will explain this. In my opinion, this is how it should have gone. Tyler's song, because she's an African, doesn't mean that what she did was automatically Afrobeats. And this is why Grammys need to learn that you don't just do, okay, this one is for black people, don't come here. What happens is that Tyler should have been in the category with other pop songs. It was more pop than, it wasn't even Afrobeat, it was a pop song. It should have been a pop song, it should have competed with the other pop song, and I believe it had a fair chance of winning. And the point I'm making now is that some African songs, some genres that is pronounced, you don't need to shoe on Africans into that place, because that's the only place you can put them. Burna Boy's last album, what was it called? I Told Them. That album, is it as Afrobeat as Burna Boy, or as it's expected to be? It had hip hop, it had rap, it had so many. So, but when it was put in African,
let me just.
So just to summarize, anyway, Tyler should have been put in pop. I believe she had the capacity to win. Then Davido could have taken the Africa performance.
So
and
why are you not talking about Burna Boy here?
You know the truth is,
Burna Boy is an OG. I mean, he still performed on that same.
The truth
so that's why I feel maybe we're crying too much.
I just want to make a correction here now. Afrobeat. There are two sections to Afrobeat. The Afrobeat without an S, then the Afrobeats with an S. The Afrobeat is a fusion of, a lot of genres, both Fuji, pop, R&B, and everything. And over there, globally now, when they look at African musicians now, they just categorize everybody as Afrobeats. But then there are other genres in Africa that are not getting that recognition. We have Makossa, we have Sukus.
Amapiano.
Amapiano.
Which Nigerians are trying to colonize.
we have Amapiano. for me, it looked very suspicious that they boxed Burna Boy, Davido, Asake into a category with someone with another artist who should have been in another category, only to give the award that was named after a category to someone who should have been in another category. Just a second before I round up. And look at these three artists. Wizkid's name was suspiciously missing.
I don't think it was suspiciously missing. I think it was it was deservedly missing. But anyway,
2 years ago,
2 years are coming for your head.
2 years ago, when Wizkid released Essence was one of the Made in Lagos. I think 2.
It was a crossover hit.
So that very album is the biggest album out of Nigeria at the moment. Essence was one of the biggest songs worldwide that very year, but that song suspiciously missed out. So right now, if we talk about Afrobeat, if we talk about Afrobeat, the first names that comes to your mind is Burna Boy, Wizkid, Davido. And you box these people into a category and give the award to someone who should have been in another category. It's suspicious.
All right, but I think some people just say everybody's just crying too much, because see, Davido says, "I love each and every one of you. We day game. We will continue to deliver." And then he congratulated the person that even won the award.
We call it the spirit of sportsmanship.
And then some other person will say, after all, you guys should be happy that Davido sat down and enjoyed Burna Boy singing on that night. So that's even a very good. All right, before we go, in one word, I'm going to ask you very quick questions. So now this one is from the reality TV star Kafi. She shares an unique prayer for couples, and then she says, and quote, "A family dedicating their baby son at church this morning prayed, quote, 'He shall be identified as a male all the days of his life.'" And she asked, "Do you think they were right to do this?" Amadin Ogbewe, one word.
No, I don't.
I'm sure myself and Amadin, we are going to fight at this point. We are going to fight at this point.
This one was going to bring argument, but I said, oh, let me just keep it at best for the last. So
they should allow the child decide whatever the child wants to be.
Francis, do you agree?
There is a default, design for how, humans should be. You are coming either as a male or a female. Are you getting me? So for me, that's one of the biggest prayer points you can pray for any child on their dedication right now. I think they should have even said, "You will be a male boy man in Jesus' name."
They should major on the major and not. You should pray that your child is not a tout or that he becomes successful. I don't think that matters.
Instead of male born man.
I don't think it matters.
Yes, he will be a male boy successful man.
All right, last one. Name a food combination that isn't labeled a crime, but you feel that it should immediately. Francis.
A food combination that
you feel that isn't labeled a crime yet, but you feel that it should. Food combination.
People who eat okra and bread.
Rice.
Okra and bread. My mom does it.
Okra and bread.
Yes, okra.
I thought I've seen okra and rice.
Okra and bread.
That's what I thought you've seen.
No, my mom does it, and I just look at her like, what's going on? Okra and bread. I think they should be charged for misbehaving.
Amadin Ogbewe, which one is it for you?
Yeah, I think maybe noodles and bread too.
Oh.
Yeah, noodles and bread, or ogbono and rice. My dad does that. So.
All right, I think for me it should be those who eat rice, jollof rice, and then pour liquid milk, either pig milk or tin milk, and even put granite, peanuts on top of it. When I become the house, a senator or your House of Rep member, be sure that I'm coming for your neck. Thank you so much, Francis. Yes, I've seen people eat it.
I've seen people eat it.
I've seen people eat it.
Oh, I thought you meant dogs or something.
No, I've seen people jollof rice, fried rice, pour tin milk, and then put peanuts, turn it together, and then they say that is balanced diet. Francis Adeniyi, thank you so much for coming on the show. And then famous Amadin Ogbewe. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Great. All right, viewers, I'm sure you must have been rightly entertained, educated, and informed. We have been chatting with Francis Adeniyi, who is our very own sport journalist, and also I had the chat with Amadin Ogbewe, who is our political correspondent and journalist. It's been a wonderful time here on The Conversation. How time flies when you're discussing serious matters that concerns our very own country, Nigeria. I will see you again next time. My name is Annabelle Oji. God bless you and yours. God bless Nigeria.